Hello guys, my name is Coolyoshi, and welcome back to my 100% walkthrough of Skyward Sword HD. I said it right this time! It's a walkthrough because I've already beaten the game once, but anyways, in the last episode we continued through doing some other stuff, and just so you know, yes, I'm not playing on hero mode. If anybody wants to see that, they'll have to look to a different video, which there's probably hundreds of them. Anyways, we left off in this area trying to get things done in Farron Woods. We got multiple goddess cubes, and then we kind of did other stuff. And now we're trying to see the water dragon. But anyways, they're back. That's one of the fish that Weirdo brought in here and used to attack our excellence. Watch out, they're as mean as they come. Hopefully you could defeat him pretty easily. He has a little spot on the side. If you charge into it, and then charge into it again, you just kill him. It's honestly one of the easier mini-bosses to kill in the entire game, because it really isn't. Yo, the guy sure knows how to pick them. You did great. Alright. Now we can actually take a look at what's going on here. Oh, I can even see some of the skulls here. Those are the Kobold Skulls, definitely. So, yeah, that just more or less confirms that the weird old jerk in there was none than our very much favored and very aggravating Gearham. Again, Gearham. Well, that's what I'm gonna call him from now on. Yeah, he's back here. At last, we're here. His Excellence, the Water Dragon, is just up ahead. Hang on just a second. Please come in. Alright, I will. Now, since there's lots of other stuff going in, this is the first part of the start of where I might not necessarily be able to complete everything in one video. So, to make it a bit easier, I will not go off and do any farming. Okay, is there anything else in here? I don't know. In fact, I'm probably just gonna talk to the giant first. You there, human! You have intruded into my home in a sacred place few are permitted to enter. This is no place for one such as you, and yet here you stand. You have seen how you got here and quickly. Let's see. I am. Those with matters address me as Farron, Arter of the Woods. I was appointed by the goddess herself. Now my current stature is less than, well, intimidating, shall we say. You stand in the presence of a loyal servant to the goddess. I say, that's one of my skills you have there. Say a gift like that could only mean you are carried by the goddess's chosen hero, but could you really be him? That raises questions. Even with that serious fashion, find my hall is no easy task. How do you find me? Oh yes, that kirkly old hermit Keekly told you where I lived, didn't he? Honestly, I can't remember how many times I told that scuffy thing to keep his house up. That's the last straw. Next time I see him, he's dinner. I digress. You come here seeking a sacred fame, have you? Of course. I knew it. But I'll be straight with you. A shrimp boy like you really looks the part of the guy who's chosen you. There's no doubt about it. A test in order to prove who you say you are. Certainly before your arrival, I was attacked by a popular Shrier calling himself Gearham. Yep, he was here. I stood against the self-proclaimed dean war, but I was wounded in the encounter. The wounds you've given me are stubborn things. I've been forced to recuculate in the basin of sacred water. Unfortunately, the healing price of the sacred water diminished, and I'm now in need of another dose to fresh out my healing. Bring me a container of fresh sacred water that I recover. Do this favor, and I'll gladly show you where to find the sacred flame you desire. What's it? Yes. I'm analyzing the water Romania's basin. Excellent. I can now help you douse for the water type you are searching for. If it contains suitable tragedy, please prepare a vessel for this purpose. Oh, he warns you. If you can continue this way, you'll find an exit back to the woods. Excellent. Now run around. Now does not keep a dragon waiting. Oh. I keep forgetting to press the A button. I have to be very cautious. Now, as with other areas, I'm still looking for chests, so we're gonna go around here first, and sure enough, here's one immediately behind us. One I missed. You must feel like a celebrity. Do I really? Because Link does not really look much like a celebrity, but whatever you say, game. Okay. I guess feel and that are different words, but yeah. Like before, yes, that was an item that I did not find the first time. A lot of these I skipped because, well, other than the pieces of art, most of these are actually optional, but that being said, it's still nice to have them. Just to know that I've completely cleared this area out. And yes, I have the Iron Shield specifically because, well, I want to give it some use. Nothing but an evil crystal. Well, that's honestly not bad. We could sell it for money later if we need to. We do need some to finish the game at some point. And see there, that's what I meant by I could sometimes do other stuff. And, ooh, another save point and another item theme. Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna do this first. Which will reveal a magical thing again. Boing. We get another claw. You see, Jai, a symbol of love upon certain walls will heal your wounds. Good to know. So these are essentially secrets to a series of things that will appear, and eventually we will be able to see the secrets in the form of actually hidden areas, and these areas are known as the goddess marks, which you can carve upon certain walls. If you happen to carve them on the right wall, then you'll actually get another effect. Oh, and while we're here, as you can see, we have another save point. That's always nice. From there, if we head up to this other area, this will reveal a hidden path that will lead back into the woods proper. Instead of information, by the city, you're currently situated southwest area. Please confirm your location with the map. So that's how we get back to the area quickly in normal gameplay. But we're literally going there literally just for that. That's all. We're not going to actually do anything. Instead, we're basically going to go in and, yeah, basically do other stuff. Actually, there's no good way to get back to the area we desired, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to first head to the sky and do what's called the loop-de-loop. So, we could do a lot of other things, but instead of doing that, we're going to have what's known as the First Skywarp. If you don't have a good way to get back into the area you want, then one strategy you could do is just charge and turn around at the same time, and doing so will allow you to then immediately enter the same area again. Doing so then gives you the option to warp. When we do so, we're gonna just go straight to Forest Temple, also known as Skyview Temple, and inside here, this is where we'll find the item. Because if you search a while, you'll eventually find out that it's actually located here. Doing this skips lots of tracking and obviously skips a lot of mob battles that are usually intended. If you hit this, that's why it's so important to hit these. And anyways, my readings indicate the presence of sacred water within the temple. However, it's not possible to use your dowsing ability here. By the calculations, I estimate the water is located at the deepest part of the temple complex, which is at the end. I recommend using the X on your map as a guide when revisiting the deepest area of the temple. If detecting a greater enemy presence in the facility than previously observed, you would be wise to proceed with caution. And you can see how different it'll be. Now the first more important change is a lot of the enemies have changed, like that plant was not there before. And there's also other things, like now we have this area where if you strum, you'll reveal a mark, and this is where we can actually get our items from. Oh, and we have a friend. Oh, you're that guy I met in the volcano. You do some treasure hunting too? I called it. You got treasure hunter right on your face. Did the big cone guy over there tip you off to the loot too? Who? No one's beating me to all the sweet loot piled up in this place. Okay. That was about all he said. The idea is if you go here, you can draw a little symbol here. And the one we want is this one. The symbol that looks like rupee. Doing that will cause us to get a bunch of rupees. And it's probably the best thing we could do, other than doing hearts, which will heal us. You got a silver rupee. It's worth a lot. 30 rupees. You just feel like a celebrity. Yeah. Now, here's where things will change a little bit. Now, you might remember Skyview Temple as well. It's already complete, so shouldn't we be able to go to the end? Not so much. Not only are there different enemies here, but you also have enemies like this Babakin Archer and a couple of other stuff. All of which are pretty brutal. So, heading back in here, there's actually different enemies this time. So we actually have to go back here and find the key again. Now, again, I do remember most of this because of memory, so I can basically just look around and find stuff. Just fantastic. I work a little easier to swipe a key from that monster, and then I have to go and lose it. I just can't remember which hole I hid it in. And here I thought the key would be on Ticket to Life of Luxury. I could have sworn I buried it right around here. So, there you kind of see the idea now. Basically, this guy or whatever, he's hidden a key around here, and we have to find it. To actually find it, though, involves one of the secret passages we got in here, which I'm just going to right now. Dig here, and there's your key. It's not actually that bad. In fact, once you know what to do, this is one of the easier parts of the dungeon. You can pretty much skip fighting any enemies, except those Babakins in the room, which I killed because, well, I don't want to deal with them every time I run around. Because having to deal with archers every few seconds is annoying. Yes, that's our introduction to Babakin Archers. They are like regular enemies, but they are much more annoying, they are much more of a threat, and do a lot more damage. There's also these Gildra brutes as well, but again, similar to our rooms, we can just skip them completely and run into the next room, where we'll actually face some opponents this time. Again, not really a good way to do stuff. This time around, these are the infamous trolls known as the Babakin Archers. If you go anywhere near them, they will more than likely hit you. To ensure they don't hit you, you have to do this first. Basically, you go up and you use your beetle to pull out a bomb. There is a faster strategy. Using a Skyward Strike, you can also kill them as well, just barely, but it's not easy, so the intended way, which we're showing as by far the simplest, is to just use your beetle, which is what you got in here originally. Pick up the bomb, drop it on him, and there you go. We're already at the end. Sheesh, I dig some serious miles to get my paws and treasure, and I found squat. Talk about bad luck. I think some no-good feet beat me to the guts. There's nothing here but water now. When the stinking world would come all this way for blah, or nobody, that's who. I claim my losses and heading home. See ya. Now, for this next run, we're going to actually be using an interesting strategy I call the bomb strategy, which is actually really good because our next fight is against Stealthals, and they're kind of annoying. So, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to fight these guys, and you'll see how I get this done. Now, obviously, this dungeon thing is not done with yet. We have to face another series of enemies. Not a boss, though, just mini-bosses, really. So here they are. So, as you see there, every time I hit them with a bomb, they all fall to the ground at the same time. It's actually pretty cool. The fastest strategy idea is to not get stuck like there like an idiot. Oh my gosh, Link! Get the frick out of the controller, you idiot. But the idea is, as you can see, you can use bombs on them to stun them. And the idea is to use both the Skyward Strike and spins to do as much damage to them as you can, and that's how you kill them quickly. So our basic idea is to keep on doing this until we've killed at least a few of them. And we basically do this until we get one of them on his lonesome, and then we just do that and they're dead. Now the initial idea, which you were trying to do, is I was going to charge up a Starred Strike while I'm running away from them, which is kind of tricky to remember, but honestly I don't care because the thing mentioned we need more health, so we're just going to immediately waste this fairy. That's also partially why I didn't heal and didn't matter, because somehow I knew I would lose hearts in this. I just know it. That's what happens. So I decided to just go for the bite as best I can, and then I will heal after using the fairy. I detect Sacred Water by. There are more monster ores causing interference, so you can douse here. So there we go. So we have to head all the way back into the main area again to actually get this Sacred Water. Not Sacred Water, unfortunately. Alright. Alright, there we go. There's a 95% probability the water gears identify to the water dragon within the water dragon's basin. I suggest we take it back to her. Like before, when we actually do finish this, we can now go back to her and do the thing. But as before, we're pretty far away, so to get back to her a bit faster, or him or whatever, we have to do yet another Skywarp. This one will take us back to the mid-right side. And this is the part I mentioned where I'm gonna do the next dungeon, but not necessarily finish it. As sad as it is to say, I don't think I could finish this dungeon in one video like I did, so I'll have to do this 2 parts, but that's fine. So go in here and head to the area known as Floria Waterfall, I believe. And from there, we can then head backwards into the area to skip having to go for the Water Dragon's puzzle again. And this gets us back to the dragon a bit quicker. From which we'll then use a couple dice to quickly get over. Yes, just look at the card. There's no doubt this is the water I need. Quickly, pour it. I pour it into my mason. There we go. Oh boy. That scream. It's exquisite. I can feel its energy surging through me. Behold the full majesty of Farron, water dragon and guardian of these lands. I shall stand tall, healed, and whole once again. You have done well to bring me the sacred water I asked for. I see now it was no coincidence that you completed the goddess trial and attained the water dragon scale. In turn, I will grant you the favor I asked of me and lead you to the secret flame of my hand. Come. So we're immediately warped here, and this is where our flame will be. Now behold. And there we go. We're into our first actual dungeon of the second part now. In this area. Alright. Go, the sacred flame you seek lies within his face. While the waterfall's barred entrance to this place, the years still found a way in, and inside they flourish. But you are the goddess chosen heroes. While a few monsters will be no trouble for you. I imagine you and I will cross paths again. Until then, do not lower your guard. Farewell, boy. Now, this dungeon has a lot of tricky puzzles, including multiple things that have to be done. But if you know the pattern, you can actually skip a lot of it, so this dungeon might be completed in a different way that you would expect, so my apologies if I do something a bit weird, but yeah, I'm still kind of trying to speedrun the game, so it'd be nice to just complete these kind of quickly. So I'll only really take out enemies I need to, necessarily. So we're inside the waterfall, which brings us to the ancient cistern. This area has a pretty trolly fights overall, but nothing that we can't handle at the moment. So it'll be pretty fast if we know what we're doing. We're up to around 13 hours in in-game time almost, which makes this a bit crazy. So I'm gonna start by moving here. This is the first intended area we're supposed to go to. Jeez, I don't want to go there. As you can see, if we drop down on any of the side things, we have to... it'll spin to the side. We have to remember that. So this area intends us to do a little puzzle, but if we do this... up, down, left, right... that just breaks it immediately! So the pattern is basically... I'm going to show the map real quick. You're supposed to go in this area, solve a bunch of puzzles to first learn the actual truth. From there, you'll find there's a bunch of weird statue things that relate to up, down, left, and right, with the red one or whatever actually being the nether. And doing this along with a couple of other things is how you're supposed to figure out the pattern normally. But I already know it. It's up, down, left, right, and if you do that, you'll just go into the room immediately. This saves us a lot of time as we can go straight to the next spot a bit sooner. We can then do more skips by just going to, I believe, around this corner and just going up here. Oh wait, no, that's not it. Okay, that's right. It's located on here. And we'll see there's an area blocking the way. If we remember things, then we will remember that to get up there, we need to flip that side thing, which means now we have to go up here. Thankfully, this guy's enraged, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna charge the Skyward straight to defeat him, and that's it. And from there, it's pretty straightforward. Fall down on here, and bam. The way is revealed. This dungeon, and I mean this dungeon, took me around 2 or 3 hours the first time. It was not funny. But by figuring out the puzzle early, we can get into the second zone we need a lot sooner. In fact, this is by far the fastest way of doing that. And as you can see there, because of all those skips, we haven't even defeated any enemies yet. So inside this chest will be the thing we seek, which is our small key, from which we'll then go to this other area and kind of just do stuff. We'll do a roll to get past the Baba, from which we'll then... yeah, I think I could just fall down here. Yeah, it's not even that bad. Enter this area. This will bring us back to the main chamber a little bit quicker. While I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and immediately save before the next boss fight, because it's gonna be a bit tricky. As for items, it doesn't really matter which one I use, but I definitely want to make sure I have my shield out, so I'm gonna hit this save point just to make sure nothing bad happens. Activate my shield, because we're gonna need it for this next fight upcoming, and this will reveal one of arguably the worst fights in the game where I'm basically just gonna do this. Thrusting. And that's my idea on how I'm gonna beat him. And we'll also be blocking as we go, but beyond that, head into this area, figure this, and this gets us into the actual area itself. And we'll see, this is an area that looks different. This is an area we can't go to yet. This is our bosky area, by the way. Don't know why I'm a little bit worried. Okay, here. Oh, see, that's why I checked that. Make sure the shield's equipped. We're gonna fall down here. And in doing so, we trigger a fight with, yep, he's back too. It's the Stonemaster. In my opinion, the worst fight here. Definitely. Oh, he's not actually doing that a lot of damage. Oh wow, we triggered his Babakin face pretty quickly. Okay, our blocks are not bad. Wow, that was actually really good this time around. So as you can see, you kind of just want to charge in and destroy him as fast as you can. If you don't, he does a lot of other stuff. Now, if you remember the Triforce in particular, if you remember them, I will definitely give you guys an appreciation for that. Then you will remember that the Stonemaster is very similar to the Triforce. You saw me using a shield there. That's why we even brought the shield. Similar to the Triforce, if you block their attacks at the right time, they'll get stunned, allowing you to get some cheap hits. Furthermore, you can get some other cheap hits by just thrusting, because sometimes he'll block all 4 directions. The only way you can hit him is with that. So yeah, because he kind of just charges around the room and hits you, I kind of just went crazy on him to just try and kill him, and sure enough, we beat him pretty quickly. He's normally much more difficult, especially on hard mode, but with this up, he is very free once you know what to do. All you really have to do is block, and there we go. We got the whip. If we see something, we can just throw it onto that, and then snap, it goes right to us. There we go. So yeah, before this strategy, this is probably one of the worst fights in the game. With this setup, it's not as bad, because even like at the beginning, he's not really that for a beginner in particular, I feel like that is the fastest I've ever taken out that Stonemaster. He definitely took me longer in the Wii version. Particularly if you know how to block him correctly, you can kind of get him defeated really quickly. Oh, jeez, that was bad. Now these areas, you're supposed to use them to get up to other little zones, which are supposed to be used to get up to other zones along with that, but we're going to ignore the rest of this because we can't actually get up there until we have the boss key anyway. So now our next goal, jeez, I'm still kind of crazy over that fight. Not gonna lie, I freaking destroyed the Stonemaster. That was really fun to do. Okay, so really the side of this doesn't matter because we can't get the chest down on the side, nor can we get anything else here either. So we're gonna go up here instead. And this is a way we tried to go a bit earlier but couldn't go. Now we can go here using the whip. which turns it into a swing, which allows us to actually access this next area. So now we can proceed to the second half of the dungeon, finally. And also we'll find an item in here, which will be pretty useful. Just kidding. Oh, yeah, oh, I'm kidding again. It is useful. It is the dungeon map. Reveals other chests as well, however we can't get either of them. So, looks like after all that, we have no way to go here, unfortunately. And this third, well, I just may as well show this because this is a new enemy. He's really interesting. He'll periodically pull his whip out, or his bird will try and do stuff. Basically, if you whip him and pull him down at the right time, he'll fall down and then you can hit him, and that's the idea. It's honestly not that bad. Unfortunately, that side area you saw over there, that's the only part I remember after that. I don't actually remember the other part of this. But one thing I do remember is I do have to do that part first because we need to whip this anyway. Sure enough, that reveals the way to go over there. Then we're gonna do this. So with the whip, you can pull switches from further away, and this is how we shut off that area, which is really important. That will give us access to the first part of the second dungeon, where we'll actually be getting some stuff this time. Looks like we have another one of those spider brutes to take out. The first behind here is apparently an arrow chest, so let's open that. For probably, yep, you guessed it, another red rupee. That's this one of 2 remaining treasure. After that, we will be good. So pretty much any hit will knock them down. That one I took out just to get him out of the way, so because he's kind of in the way. Okay, these guys will try and skip. It's kind of obnoxious because they're also an archer, which means they can do good damage from far away. Also, he's kind of right next to the area where I want to be. Gonna get 2 cheap hits on me since I was really slow. I'm gonna kill one of them and then skip the other. Oh, there's another one. Oh, but he is firing against a wall, which is good. We're just gonna go here and hope for the best. Whew, that was close. Alright. Good. I'm killing these guys because, of course, they're archers. They're very much annoying to deal with. See if we can get onto this on the first try. Nope. That's why we defeated the archers. No, now we don't have to deal with them again going back up. And yes, before I did this right, I kind of got stuck on the first half of the dungeon for a while. Okay, that did not work. Let's try this. Okay, there we go. Now we got the quick strat. Because that plant's not there, we can easily walk past. Can we just... I think we can make it, just barely. Oh yeah, we can, easily. Easily make it. Alright, that was bad. Let's try this again, except let's not suck. In case you're wondering, I'm trying to land on the actual rope thing. It's right there. Okay, I still couldn't land on it, but that's fine. I can just whip it. Oh. Maybe not. Looks too far away, so it looks like I do have to land on this precisely. Landed on the wrong spot, but I'll shake this spider off. The Can I leap here? No, I can't. Okay. Alright, so now we're at one of the tougher parts. Because we didn't do the strategy that I mentioned before, or I guess land on it on the first time, we have to... So we're gonna just keep on jumping here until we actually land on it. Don't really know a better strategy other than to just use my slow movement to line up and then just jump hoping to land on it. There we go. We got the right angle and now we're finally through. Sheesh. That took a bit longer than I wanted to, but to be fair, I'm still kind of new to this dungeon. It's been quite a while since I've done it, so not easy, and missed that as well. Sheesh, that one's not even as hard to hit. Okay. Clearly I do need to move a bit more to the side here. Yes, you do not have to build up any speed with the whip, you can just do that. I'm gonna kill you two, and then I'll just pick this up from this side. It is possible to do it without that, but I don't recommend ever doing that, especially in hard mode where the enemies are more difficult. This is like the safest strategy I know. And into the loop we go. So this would take us all the way into a lower section that we're still kind of confused about, and there's another freaking spider in the way. I mean, Skulltula. Am I kidding? But first, there's also a save point here, which we can activate by walking up to it again. I'm not gonna lie, ever since I'm doing this new strategy, this makes things more interesting. Darn it. Looks like we're gonna have to kill this guy too. Well, that takes care of him. Now we can actually fall onto him. Oh. Now we can actually do the strategy I wanted to do before. Oh, what? He respawned? That's trolly. Well then, let's do it again. Ah. My goodness. Excuse me, Mr. Skulltula, you're being very rude. See what I mean? Thing with this game, he can do a lot more damage than other enemies for some reason, and I just don't get it. Okay, I'm gonna consider that a death. So now you see what I mean by the fail things. I'm not gonna cut this out again because I do like to do this a lot. So, in case you didn't know, I am pretty straight with how I do the dungeons. I hate fails like that, especially when I do a lot of other stuff. So in my original game, I did this a lot. Whenever I fell below a series of arts that would normally force me to use a couple items early, I basically just quit. I don't quit. I exit and save, and then that puts me back in the same area with these guys again. And then I will do this again, except this time I'll basically keep on doing this until I don't fail. That's the idea. Oh, that's how you do that. I was starting to wonder how to flip that, and yeah, I should have known. You have to just flip it with the frickin' Skulltulas. So you always fight. Sometimes it takes like 2 tries to get certain things. I'm not gonna lie. There you can see the whip's other useful effect. You can steal enemies' items by just doing that. Doing this allows us to then pass through here. We could defeat this Babakin if we want to. I'm gonna skip it though because we need to get to our next reward, which you can already see is down there. That's where our big chest is. Looks pretty easy to get, but trust me, it's not. Yeah, skipping him, just going up here instead. And that respawns us in a completely different area now. But in doing so, we find out we are basically back in the same area we would have gotten to normally in a different way. But now we're on the other side of the wall, so this gets us through the second half of the dungeon. But we're still not done yet. We still can't get the item up there. Don't worry, we'll be able to get it now. But it'll still be a bit tricky, nonetheless. Now, before we do that, we have to solve yet another whip puzzle, which, I'm pretty sure you've kind of figured it out by now. We have to whip this thing down on its side again. Then head up here. We could attack the spider, but we're not going to. Instead, we're just gonna barely make it up here and skip him completely. This guy I'm probably gonna kill because he's covering a big portion of the map and we have to come back here multiple times, so I'm choosing to kill him. Anyways, we'll see that there's a way we could potentially get to the other area. Unfortunately, it's blocked right now, so we'll just fall on this area instead. Doing this reveals a way to the side area, which will then go down it to find that this is no side area. Oh, okay, it is. Jeez, Link, I'm gonna do multiple setups here just to make sure Link is turned around. By the way, never mind what I said. I just remembered that I actually still have to do another strategy yet. But to do it, I have to go up here first, so... all part of the plan, yes? Alright. Alright. So, doing all of that, we arrive on this side of the area, which we can pull a specific chain to cause the water to rise, and this is what gets us to the actual area we are seeking. Because we took a little while going for the other areas, we'll go ahead and use our water dragon scale here to get some faster movement, although I kind of failed the dive there. I was trying to dive upwards and up to the side. Not fun when your controls do not do what they want them to. Though to be fair, that was also kind of a pathetic attempt at it, not gonna lie. Oh. And of course I missed it on my first try. This is why I specifically said I wanted to do a lot enemy, because somehow I just knew I would fail that terribly. Okay, I'm actually better off not doing this. What I hate about this, by the way, is my nose is starting to itch for the most worst time ever. This is not a good time for you to itch, stupid nose. Trying to get through a dungeon. Do you mind? I'm skipping a spur, by the way. I'm not dealing with him. I don't care what they say. I'm gonna ignore him. Instead, we're gonna go down this side area to get our next chest, which we'll do a quick let go to quickly head down here. Wow, we kind of just skipped him somehow. That was very odd. Not what I usually do. Oh, and frick me. Of course I fall into the frickin' water like an idiot. This is what I mean by this dungeon can sometimes get annoying. I don't believe I've saved in a while, so... guess what? See you guys back later. Alright guys, we're back. I'm not sure what happened there, but that was probably the most pathetic excuse for gameplay I've seen in a while. Let's try not to fail like an idiot does this time and actually get the frickin' chest, Link. That's all I ask you. Get the chest. I'll lose all my energy. I don't care. Just get the frickin' chest. I'm gonna do it slowly this time. There we go. That's more like it, Link. Sometimes I feel like Link is just an idiot when stuff goes down. What I find really annoyed about this fail is this is right next to an area where I could have just gotten back up and then continued all the way to the end after that. So it wasn't even an hard area. I just happened to be an idiot and fail it. Okay, well, not gonna lie, probably should have waited on that enemy to go away, but yeah, that's my thing. Part of the problem is that's one of the spots where I could have actually fallen down. If I'd fallen literally anywhere else, I would have just fallen down here and then I could get back up and immediately go to the area again. I didn't think I would actually fall here. That's what makes this so bad, and also I'm losing energy badly. Okay, there we go. Alright. Whew. Here we go. Finally done with this. Now this is really important so that we can get back up to here later. So anyways, we do that. And doing so will cause a mysterious thing to happen, which will then cause the statue to be lowered into a said location. And this is really important because we need this to get another effect to happen later. So now we've done that, we're gonna go here and back to the middle again. Alright. Now's where the game starts getting a little bit trolly. So if we go to that middle area we did before, we'll actually reach the zone where we previously were unable to go before. If we went there before in a different time, that would have led us to another chest. But instead, we find a completely new zone with this enemy called the Undead the Goblin. They are like regular Bokoblin, except they take more hits, they're even harder to kill, and just have other problems. There's quite a few of them here, though, so we're not going to actually face any of them. Instead, we're going to just go out and begin heading around the right side here, kind of just ignoring them. If they do latch onto you, you will have to pull them back at some point. So as you can see, Bokoblins were here at one point, but then they kind of just vanished after that. I honestly forget what I'm supposed to do here. I know there's another puzzle in this area. This is where I start getting a little bit confused what to do. I know I have to go down here for the boss key, so I am going the right direction. It's mostly about what specifically I have to do. Is that Goddess Wall? If it is, I'm gonna get the root hearts this time. Alright. Alright. Good, okay. So, drawing a heart, as you can see, recovers all hearts. It's probably the only really useful strategy you can do, because, well, it's better than doing other things, and it's honestly a lot easier to use. What does it say? A gemstone times D within the eye. Strike it to shut the mouth and dam the flow. I forget where the actual eye is, but there's actually a strategy I can do that isn't even that bad with this particular beetle. And this is what will actually allow us to use the tough beetle to our advantage. And this is the one spot, I believe, where you actually are intended to have the tough beetle for. The game intends you to shut off the dem foe, so you can just do it from a different side. And obviously find a gem. But if you go around here with the tough beetle, you'll be able to just go from here and make it this way and completely skip the entire puzzle, which is good because I'm pretty sure the actual item to stop that puzzle is in a very terrible spot, in a spot where pretty much we would never want to go. So doing this allows us to basically skip that, and there we see a new effect that wasn't supposed to kick in, but I was an idiot and fell into it anyways. We can, while we are in, take any damage from either goblins or other poison effects, pretty much anything with a black thing tied to it or fallen there, we will be cursed in our weapons. We cannot use them while that's there, at least until we get back. And so, at least until we wait a set amount of time, from which we'll then get back to using them again. Ugh. My gosh, these nose is so terrible. Could I not? In case you're wondering why I was stopping, that's laughing for a few seconds. That's probably why. Alright, so this part is a bit tricky. We have to first pull the side thing so we can get it going the other way. This gets us past the first part, but then we'll have to pull it again later to get to another side area after that. The first bit is pretty straightforward, and just like previously, we're skipping all of these goblins. They take way too long to kill, because as the undead, they're actually way more difficult compared to their original selves, which are usually pretty weak, but at least can block. These cannot block, but they are slightly stronger. Doing this will allow us to get back to there, and as you can see, the LL is currently going in a direction where we can't progress. If we do this, though, which, since this is a multi-level switch, we have to switch it to the left, and that gets it going the other way again. This allows us to solve the puzzle and actually get to the area which we seek. So yes, you have to flip the thing not once but twice to get over here. There we go. Alright. And inside here we have kind of a mixed pit or trap here. I don't know what it is. We're gonna ignore it for now and instead do this trap thing here, which is just activating this flatter so we can go back up here if we want. From there, we're gonna grab the rope, grab the chain, and after a little bit, the goblins will start chasing after us. Eventually, we'll have to shake them off. And the idea is to just get out by moving up. It's pretty easy to get them off, though, so pretty easy to get for this part. Though a bit scary when you first see it. Now, the only reason this is actually important is to reveal the other area that will allow us to actually go to the spot that we want to do properly. But first, we're going to do this. Pull this up. We should statue back because if you noticed, there was a chest under there. We couldn't get it now, but now that we have done this, we can actually get back into the area again, and inside we can get our chest. And this will be our safety save here, and I believe there might be another statue as well, but I like saving here just to make sure. So we'll just fall down here. And as you can see, we're back in the underground again, but this time we're on the other side of the door that was previously blocked, and now we can head down in here to freely claim our chest. Or can we? We're gonna do this. We'll get our blessed idol, and sure enough, more enemies appear, and this time the fiend threatens to crush us. Another pretty straightforward puzzle though. Just hold the feint and walk down and it automatically tries to crush us, and there we go. We're done with that. Not even that difficult. Now, we could possibly go back and save a second time after that, but the boss in here is not as bad as the mini-boss. In fact, the mini-boss was much more crazier than him. That being said, this is one of the longer fights, so don't be surprised if it takes a while. And I kind of joked, because I got here at the right time, I will actually be able to get this done in time just barely. So this one, also kind of straightforward. We want to get it like a flower, so if we turn it around like this, we can just finish it really quickly. This is one of the easier puzzles to solve. All you have to do is turn it to its backside and you get the flower. Which then opens the way to our next boss. Which we're just gonna literally run right up to and ignore all the warnings. To actually get it to appear though, we have to first use our newly acquired whip to get all these up. There we go. Now we enter arguably one of the longest fights in the entire game. Over to other fights and stuff like the Stonemaster. If we fail this, we have to do the boss key thing again, but it's not honestly that scary, especially considering we did save before the other one, so it's not terribly bad. Most of this is to just save having to save later. Oh, and sure enough, there's a save that gets brought up here anyways that I completely forgot about, since I usually don't get this far. But there we go. Honestly, that's probably one of the faster dungeons we've done, so definitely improved on that, instead of getting stuck like we did last time. Alright. We enter here and Giriam is back. You certainly are persistent. I'm terribly busy trying to find the clues that'll help me revive the Demon King. Your instant buzzing around like some garrulously gadfly when I'm this busy, well, it's making me very disagreeable. So he kind of just vanishes, and now we have to fight this big statue thing. How to actually fight it? It's actually pretty straightforward once you know what you're doing. But it is a pretty tough fight. The ancient automaton Klotos. So Klotos is going to begin with a series of attacks, and we basically have to pull out all of his arms to get any attack in. That was close. Alright, so after taking out the two arms, he basically reveals his weak point. You keep hitting that, and then you go to the next phase where things actually become more interesting. This is where the lawn part actually begins. There's not a lot we can do here. Actually, wait, no. This is just the first part of the first phase. So again, we have to pull off the arms just as we did before. And then wait for him to do his attacks again. Sometimes I'll do that. You can't actually dodge that unless you hit back. Somehow I avoided that. I thought it would be much worse than that, but I guess not. Now, there are some heals, but not in the same way as you did before. Oh, jeez, that's the worst, when I kind of get stuck in the side there. Okay, there we go. It's being kind of trolly. Oh, there we go. Maybe not. Oh, there we goes. Alright, second phase now. Actually, second phase. So now I'll seal off this fiend, and this is where we'll have to get a bit more creative. The first part is pretty straightforward, though. Dodge just like you did before, and whip off these arms as quickly as you can. Doing so will reveal a new effect you can use. From there, you can then pick up one of them. And what you want to do is basically hit the side as fast as possible, and then just start slashing repeatedly, over and over again, until eventually he'll recover his arms. If you don't do that, he will attack you back. But doing this correctly allows you to get some free hits on him. From there, he'll do an unavoidable attack, or I guess unblockable attack. During that, we want to lure him to destroy the pillars. This is what will give us our hearts back. It'll also give us a little bit more room to work. Sometimes I'll summon these goblins. If you do see them appear, try and defeat them as quickly as you can. They will make your life a lot harder otherwise. Now, you don't need all the swords gone, you only need a little bit of them. Sometimes he'll do his attack prematurely for some weird reason. That's actually the first time he's ever done that. Usually he goes into other combos. Again, we hit him a few more times with our big sword. This triggers him to come back again. You have to do this a few more times to defeat him. Fortunately, not really a good way to speed this up. And just like before, he'll go into another one of these attacks, which we have no choice but to just avoid and try and make him destroy the pillars. But yeah, not much we can do to speed this fight up. We're basically waiting for him to do the right attack you want. For some reason, these Pakulans die in one hit compared to the others. I don't know why. Beyond that, though, we are basically waiting on him to attack us. When it gets to the second half, things start getting a bit more tricky because now all of a sudden he pulls his feet back a bit quickly. So we have to be a little bit more priority with the whip. And yes, if he does hit us, we can't actually do anything to him. Which makes me think if I don't get hit by him, then I'll probably be able to avoid that. Jeez, I've gotten hit by that literally every single time. Is it really that hard to avoid? It isn't. I know it's editable. Okay, there we go. Now we can pull off these properly. Looks like he's doing the troll attack again. Really likes doing that. One more hit and he's dead. If we had just taken our feet out, we could have beaten them about a minute sooner, but still pretty straightforward fight. Since you get multiple healing around, it's not really that bad. And there's our heart container that we worked so hard to get. Alright. Here we go. Nice. I kinda lie. Well, apparently we were able to do Ancient Sister in one video after all. Alright. And now we get our first Sacred Flame, which actually enhances our sword, as the game mentions. It is also the best one, because it makes our damage increase, which is really needed. Some of the enemies are getting a lot harder. We could definitely use this. Anyways. Whew. It's nice to be done with this dungeon. Honestly, I thought this would be a lot harder, but going for the second time is not actually that bad. That's a really long boss fight, though. That's the only problem with that fight. That is arguably one of the longest fights in the entire game. So yeah, not good. Raise your sword, master. It's me, yeah. Alright. Alright. The flames of Peril have acquired your sword, making it longer and sharp enough to do twice as much damage. Nice. Sword Blade has gotten a bit stronger now. We also received a mark of the Triforce for some reason. Alright. The Sacred Flame has purified your blade, enhancing and evolving it. It has, indeed, Vi. With your sword now enhanced, you are ready to learn a new melody. We should return to the Isle Sans. Which I'm going to return to the Isle Sans, but I'm not necessarily going to do what I expected. Instead, I'm going to do something else. Oh wait, first Farron's back. Ah, the sword you carry is different since I last saw you. Yes, I see it is much improved. To think the goddess has chosen hero is but a mere boy. Quite a twist. Chosen hero or not, you do not yet possess the strength to wield the full power of that blade. You must train yourself further, devote yourself wholly to this task. Farewell, boy. Just like before, we're going to immediately leave this area and go to the sky. Now we've gotten the 4 goddess cubes before, and now we can go back and get a lot of the goddess chest. However, our first actual thing we're going to do that will be different will be located back in the land of the Skyloft. Yes, we're going to head back there. Not going to purchase anything because, well, I was mostly actually just doing this to check for a cutscene, because sometimes there are weird things that happen in this game, so it's nice to at least check to make sure there are no cutscenes here, but sure enough, I don't think there are. Let me move towards the save point just to make sure I'm not misheard about what's happening. Okay, here we go. Into the save point area. Alright. So, back to another save point. This allows us to save the game, and this is where we're going to end off the episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed, cut rates, subscribe, but I'll see you in the next video where we'll hopefully have more rupees and more items to get. Until then, see you guys later. Bye.